You're going to be standing, 10 feet away from everybody while we're playing. It's going to be, again, this is kind of what golf was like, and part of what the Champions Tour does a good job of, is this is what golf was like in the 60s and 70s when we all were watching it on TV. The PGA Tour, which is a great product, is the greatest product in sport without question, but you go out to Erin Hills and you're standing 100 yards from everybody. It's just a different type of deal. This is going to be you're going to get to see a lot more golf, and it's going to be a lot more intimate, and it's going to be, but it's also going to be, I think, for that week, it's going to be one of the big things going on in the week. This is going to be one of the places to be. I mean, how big a deal is it that the governor's here telling you to come? I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's a nice commitment to have to the event, and I think that's part of coming down here and being in the city versus being up in Desert Mountain. This is the venues, again, this is we are a fan-driven sport. The fans are more involved in our sport. They play with us on Tuesday, or Wednesday and Thursday. We're a fan-driven sport. Having that intimacy that you're going to get here versus what you're really not getting at those types of places is an important part of driving the product. That's what's good for Charles Schwab. That's good for the city. That's what's good for the charitable dollars that are going to be raised here, is getting people out here and having that ability to be up close and personal with the event, that experience. You know, I was fortunate enough to win Bay Hill at Arnold Palmer's event, and you know, that's obviously a special thing. To an extent, yes, you do. I think, unfortunately, in our sport, we have certain names, and when you see a certain type of player win there, it tells you a lot about the golf course, in my opinion. You know, the greatest players in the world win at the best golf courses. It seems to be, there's a statistic out there, and that we talk about the difficulty of golf courses, and say, take major championships, for example. If you look at it, the lower the score in the major championship, let's say Augusta National when Tiger shot 19 under par, or when Tiger shot 15 under par here, or when Tiger shot 20 under par there, great players shoot low scores and separate themselves. And when you see that, when I see Johnny Miller won in this golf course by 14 shots, that tells me that if I play good golf, you can do similar things. This golf course is going to reward, hopefully, my good play, while penalizing other players who are not playing as well. And that's really what we want to see. So when I see the great players winning on golf courses, I kind of get the feeling that this golf course is going to reward you for playing well and penalize you for not playing well. And that's kind of what I look at when I see those types of things. That make sense? He's better than everyone else. I mean, people in sports in general don't like to say that, but Tiger Woods was a lot better than me. We had more talent. He had more, whatever, intestinal fortitude, whatever the makeup of a successful professional athlete is. And Bernard has that. He has the same drive to win. He'll have the same drive to win when he comes here in November as he did when he was 20 years old playing a mini tour event, in Germany. The guy has this internal ability this is what he wants to do, and he prepares. I was telling a story. It was earlier today, I think, where he lives in Boca Raton, or that's somewhere around there. One of the courses we play is one of his home courses for the Allianz. And he plays there every day. That's what he does. That's his home course. And he's out there on Tuesday in the practice round before the tournament. And Tom Pernice was telling the story. He drives up on the 15th hole. Bernhard Langer's standing on the back of the tee with his yardage book, and he paces up 5 yards to the tee box so he knows how far it is to the right bunker. And Tom goes, "This is your home course. What are you doing? Of course you know how far it is to the right bunker. You've played it 500 times." He goes, "This is what I do." He prepares himself to play golf, to hit the best shot. It doesn't matter if he's 60 years old or 30. He's never changed, and that's and he's more talented. I mean, that's okay to say that Bernhard Fred Couples is more talented than me too. I got some bad news for you. That's just the facts. I've been around Freddie, and I watch him play golf, and I say, no, I can't do that, no, I can't do that, and no, I can't do that. And then Langer does a lot of things. I played with him a few times. He does a lot of things that I don't do very well. He's better at it, and that's fine. On a given day, that doesn't matter, but over time, it does. I can beat him this week. I've beaten him a few times in tournaments. But over time, that's what makes the great players great, is that they're just, the best way I could describe it is, and even with Tiger Woods, they beat you with paper cuts. They're just a little bit better at everything. They're just, and that's part of that's talent, part of that's, who you are, part of that's whatever. And the stat that's great, last year I shoot 62 the first round, and Langer made a bogey on the third hole, so he's in 20th place. They say, if he finishes 17th or worse, and you win, and somebody else does all these dominoes effects, you can win the Schwab Cup. And I said, the guy's worst finish was 13th last year, going into the Schwab Cup. 13th was, you think he's going to finish 17th when we cut the field in half? He finished second, I think. And that's an unbelievable, his worst finish in the whole year was 13th. And that's an unbelievable stat. The stat that stands out, no, we talked about, he played in the last group at Augusta last year. He played in the final group of the Masters at 58 years old. That tells you where the guy, and that golf course does not fit the way he plays anymore. It did back when we won it a couple times, but they've lengthened it, and he doesn't hit as far as all these kids do. And if him playing the last group at Augusta is nuts. It's just nuts. Yeah, it kind of looks like, again, it's old school. I mean, it's a term we tend to throw around, but this is what golf really was up until probably the 1980s. It looks like, I haven't played it, so I'm just going by what I saw. It looks like a golf course where you have to drive your golf ball. I was talking with the gentleman earlier. You play a lot of golf courses, and you can kind of figure out where I want to miss it. And what I could see, you don't want to. You have to hit it straight. There's trouble on both sides. They don't give you a miss. And so you're going to see a golf course where I think, again, you'll see some separation in scoring because of that. You'll see, I'm just guessing, a 10-shot spread between first and 15th place. You're going to see that spread where the golf course rewards the good play, the guy who's playing great versus the guy who's playing good versus the guy who's playing okay. And my guess is the guy who plays well here is going to drive the ball in the fairway. You're going to have to drive the ball in the fairway. And there'll probably be 10 guys who drive it good enough to win here, and then the guys who make, and then you kind of, there'll be five. You got 5 guys who hit their irons good enough and 2 guys that putt good enough, and that's how we're going to end up. That's still my favorite stat. I think more. That's the greatest stat in golf right there. I think 11 people have walked on the moon and 9 people have broken 60 on the PGA Tour. That's just a great stat. I'm one of them. Yeah, I mean, you don't think about it until that kind of puts things in perspective a little bit, I guess. Maybe it's harder to become an astronaut, I don't know. Well, the first, the inside your head part, about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, we did a show with a bunch of people to shot 59. One of the person, there was Annika Sorenstam. And I'd never really met her. I'd talked to her, maybe I'd seen her in a tournament, but I really had no idea who she was. And she's there, and I got to talk to her for about 20 minutes. And I walked away thinking, now I know why she shot 59 and won 100 golf tournaments. I mean, her attitude about golf was just, it was like I was like a kindergartner compared to her. It was stunning how good she was, how good she thought about how golf, take away the physical part of the game. We all have our physical skills. Her mental approach to golf, I feel like a beginner after talking to her for 20 minutes. And she talked about being in the zone. And I would always argue that she had the best definition of that, and that was being 100% in the present. So on the 18th hole, I had about I think according to shot length, it was sitting on the screen at 7.3 feet or some crazy number for birdie. And, the ball going in to shoot 59 was a future event. And I had the ability that day, for whatever reason, to stay in the present. So I wasn't concerned. I was going through my routine. I hit the putt solid, and it went in. One thing I remember is when I finally saw the ball after hitting the putt, it was almost to the hole. So I'd kept my head down long enough on a 7-foot putt that I didn't even see the ball until it was a foot from the hole, and I knew it was going in. And so when you talk about what's in your head is that you're just 100% in the present, meaning where the ball goes is a future event that you're not concerned with. And it's an odd way of looking at it, but it's kind of it's the best definition I've ever heard of it. Back to following rounds up. So I shot 59. Well, first of all, I woke up the next morning, I was 3 back. Stricker shot, whatever. So I teed off, I was 5 back. And funny, a couple weeks ago, I won at 3M. I shot 60 the second round at 3M, which was 12 under, just like I shot 12 under when I shot 59. And then I had to play the final round of the tournament tied for the lead. When I shot 59, it was the second round of the tournament. And the first 11 holes, when I shot 59, I birdied 5 of the first 11 holes. So 17 under for 28 holes, which is, I was following it up. When I shot 60, which was 12 under at 3M, I played the next 11 holes, 5 under par, so I was 17 under par for 28 holes twice. And so when they talk about following up a round, it is difficult, but in my opinion, that the situation overtakes that in the sense that I shot 12 under par at both tournaments. 12 under par is not going to win. I mean, I think Stricker shot 25 or 6 under, and I think I shot 23 or 4 under. So my mindset the second day wasn't, I need to follow up a good round. I need to keep going, or if I shoot 59 even, I'm going to finish 50th in this tournament. So it was there wasn't this concept of following up the rounds. I just you need to keep playing. You need to, that's that mindset. And if I was at the time, I was 40 something, 2000. I don't know when I did it, 2010. So 46 years old. If I was 36, I guarantee I'd have shot 74 the next day. But I had enough experience to know, hey, this is a nice round of golf, and that was a wonderful day. We got work to do. And that experience at 3M after shooting 60 allowed me, I had the same kind of attitude. Hey, that's a nice round. We got work to do. And I was lucky enough to hold on and beat Gene Sowers in a playoff. But that mindset, again, that's, now, having said that, Jordan Spieth had that at like 4. But that mindset's a learned experience. That'll be short. I imagine I'm right near the bottom. We probably play between 67 and 72. But length is a irrelevant point. The 2 shortest courses on the PGA Tour play the hardest. Colonial, Hilton Head. If you shoot 10 under par there, you get a chance to win. I'll never forget, in Houston, everybody pray for Houston right now, they moved our tournament from the Woodlands to a place called Redstone. We played this course for a couple years. And I remember I was playing the practice round on Tuesday, and we're going playing this. So we get to about the 15th hole, and every hole has been a 500-yard par 4. Every hole. I'm going, what the hell? So I grabbed my, I don't carry yardage, but I grabbed his yardage book, and I added up the back 9. And the back 9 was 4,000 yards long, a little over 4,000 and change. And I thought, well, what's this game coming to? I mean, 4,000, I mean, I'm doing the math. I think that means an 8,000-yard golf course. Freddie Couples won, he shot 22 under par. Length is an irrelevant number. It really is. It has to do with there's strategy. I look, again, you got this guy, there's some hole over here, a par 5, it looked like may have been 7. And it's pretty straight, probably reachable in 2, but they got this stupid tree. Looked like it was about 50 yards short of the green on the left. Well, that's going to be problematic. So the guys are going to struggle with that. You're going to struggle off the tee because it's tight.
And there's a bunker on there.
And you got the bunkers out there. You got a hard tee shot. But once you get in the fairway, you see the golf course is pretty. The hole's pretty well. That was a par 4. I would say that was dumb. Yeah. But as a par 5, that's good. I think that's good design. And good design will always overcome length. All due respect to my architect friends, to design a 500-yard par 4 is not real hard. To make it difficult, you need a tee, a fairway, and a green, and it's hard. It's 500 yards. The difficulty is designing a 390-yard par 4. That's hard. That takes skill. The 10th hole at Riviera is a perfect example of it. If you ever want to have any fun watching professional golf, watch these guys play 10 at Riviera. They don't know what to do. They can hit 3 wood on the green, and they make 5 every time because they have no idea what to do there. It befuddles them, and that's what this golf course is going to. Guys are going to make birdies. There's no question, guys, because the golf course 1 is going to be in terrific condition. Don't ever that's going to be your. If you guys see the scores too good or not as good or too low, blame your superintendent because the golf course is going to be in immaculate shape. I guarantee it, and that causes good scoring. That's just life. But guys, again, I think you're going to see some good scores, but I think you're going to see a big separation. You're going to see some mediocre scores too. His caddy still goes out and he walks the golf. Probably takes him 4 or 5 hours on Tuesday before Bernard, maybe Monday, before Bernard gets there, and he maps all the greens, does all the stuff. I played with him last week, and yeah, they work together as a team really, really well. But he's got a lot, he does his homework. He's ready to go. He's not going to get beat because you out-prepare him. You may beat him because you just play better, but you're not going to out-prepare him. And that's great. I mean, you know, it's an untold story that needs to be told. What he's done in the last 10 years. He's played 9 full years. 1 year he only played a half year because he might have been hurt or something. He played 9 full years, and he's won the Schwab Cup, wait for it, 9 times. I probably have had 5 caddies in my life. To me, it's more of about, you know, being able to stand the person standing next to you. Chris is a good guy, but Chris Mazziotti has been with me since 2010. I've actually had 2 caddies quit because they got better offers. It's happened twice in my career. But that's true, yeah. But yeah, I mean, he does a lot of work. He does a lot of the things that I don't want to do. So Chris it's a new course. It's going to be a night for, he'll get here. Chris will probably get here Monday. I'll get here Tuesday morning and play Tuesday afternoon. Chris will be here Monday, probably spend 5 hours on the golf course. Because he knows the information I want. I'm going to know that tree on 7 is 50 yards short of the green. I'm going to know that on 18, there's 2 bunkers on the left of the green. It looks like one of them might be 10 yards into the green and one of them might be near the back of the green. I'm going to know those carries. He's going to have all the information that I want. I have a lot of weird things. So if you have the pins in the back right and there's a bunker front left, I'm going to carry in the bunker front left just for depth perception. I have a lot of idiosyncrasies that I have that Chris knows about. So he'll spend 5 hours out here going over, and that's because they already have a yardage book. They'll already have that. So just adding information to the yardage book that he thinks I might want. And that information, I would say, 95% of the information he will gather I will never use. He just doesn't know the 5%. That's caddying. I guarantee, even with Bernhardt's caddy, 80% of the stuff he gets, he probably didn't use that week. But you just don't know the 80%. You don't know the 20 you didn't need. That's part of the problem. But I guarantee you Monday you'll see a bunch of caddies out here doing that. Well, I mean, I think the USGA is looking at it. I don't think they liked what they saw at Erin Hills. I don't use them. I've looked at them. I've had them. They don't have them on the Champions Tour, but they've had them on. There's a guy who makes the books out on the regular tour. I've looked at them. I think you don't see it much out here. I kind of like what Brad Faxon said. He said, if I get on the putting green, the guy pulls out his yardage book, I like my chances. Because I think putting is, I think you can get away, tee to green being a technician, but there are very few, putting is much more artistic in my opinion, the 2 parts of the game, and I think, feel and touch, and it's okay to have a perfect stroke, but when the heat is on, it's more of an artistic thing, and I don't know how much the book helps you in that. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem looking at the book on Tuesday, but once the tournament rolls around, I want to understand what I think it's going to do. And again, I've always lived on the mantra is I'd rather be confident on the wrong line than unconfident on the right line. So I want to see what I see and go from there. And the arrows don't tell me speed. The arrows don't tell me those things. And again, I don't know. I mean, it's like aim point. Say it's got a .6. I don't even know what that means. Well, how does, you see these guys straddling with their feet and, what they're doing. I mean, if you can't read, how'd they get this far? I don't get that. I mean, but Scott McCarron, he's a big aim point guy, and he's probably one of the best putters on the Champions Tour. So yeah, it's different how I guess it's a little bit of how you want to approach things, but to me, putting is more artistic. The players who have played here are excited. I mean, you talk to there's a couple of guys that played here. They used to have I want to say before Tucson, last year and the year before, they had a pro-am here, and they were just raving. I mean, I think. You ran that. Oh, you ran that event. They were raving, and so I didn't get invited.
No, that's it.
Now you know.
But yeah, I understand why. But I mean, I think again, Desert Mountain was a wonderful location, and it's a wonderful golf course to play a tournament on. But I think being in the city, regardless of the city, Phoenix, it doesn't matter. You'd rather play in. I think playing in the heart seems to be the heart of the city in downtown. I think there's a couple you might aim at a building for all I know. I just think it's going to have a different feel. And the golf course, I mean, I just looked. I can't imagine anybody's not going to like the golf. But the golf course looks difficultly simple. Everything's right in front of you. There's no funny business. You got to hit it between those trees. You got to hit it below the hole over here, and you got to make that putt. And that's what the guys want.